Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for logging on to CBS in Denver and CBSDenver.com. Time for a few more minutes with our Xfinity Monday Live guest, Dave Logan, joining us tonight. We ended Xfinity Monday Live talking about your new book, Dave, If These Walls Could Talk, Stories from the Denver Broncos Sideline, Locker Room, and Press Box. You and Arnie Stapleton got together. Give me a story that's in the book that maybe stands out to you as one of your favorites as you were reminiscing throughout your time as the voice of the Broncos.
Oh, wow. Michael, there are 3 or 4 of them probably. The one that I think would interest fans, the Broncos back in Super Bowl 32, they head to San Diego. They're going to play the Packers. They're a 13.5-point underdog. We're out there the week before the game. We're doing shows in the lobby at the hotel we stayed. And, of course, I have to do the coach's show and the quarterback show on Friday before every game. So I knock out Coach Shanahan's show and then get John Elway. And John was really easy to work with, very bright. But this particular pregame show, he was as confident as I've ever heard him. And while it might not have been a Joe Namath sort of guarantee we're going to win, it was just short of that. So, it was gold. And I sat there 2 4-minute segments. We get it. I say, hey, appreciate it, John. Wraps up. He goes back to the players' lounge, and I looked over. I said, man, that was as good as I think it was. That was just unbelievable. And the producer's like, yeah, he was unreal. My engineer, however, has this sort of pale color to him and weird look in his face, and he goes, I don't think we got that. I said, what do you? What part of it didn't we get? We didn't get any of it. So now it's like, my boss came and he said, hey, listen, we got to do it again. I said, I'm okay. He said, you got to go in the players' lounge and tell Johnny's got to do it again. I said, I'm not going to the players' lounge. That's for players. I'm an ex-player. I'm not going to the players' lounge. So I got convinced. I walked in the players' lounge to John. John and I are friends, but he was not all that pleased with me. But fortunately, he did it again. And while he might not have been quite as good, he was really, really good, even the second time around.
Oh, fantastic story. And as you were telling that, my producer, Eric Christensen, got in my ear and said, that was Arnie's favorite story, too, from your time together when you were writing this book. You can check it out, If These Walls Could Talk, Stories from the Denver Broncos. A fantastic, fantastic read. I know a lot of Broncos country is looking forward to getting their hands on that if they haven't already. Hey, Dave, I do want to ask you, obviously a big weekend for Broncos country with Peyton Manning and John Lynch being announced that they would officially go into the Hall of Fame. I don't think that anybody thought that Peyton wouldn't get in, but it was certainly nice for John to get in, and now Peyton officially a first ballot Hall of Famer. What does it say about this organization that as of late, Steve Atwater, Peyton Manning, John Lynch, obviously those guys have ties to other organizations, Champ Bailey, Pat Bowlen. For so long, it felt like the Broncos couldn't break through into the Hall of Fame, and now they're starting to get a whole bunch of guys. What do you make of that?
Well, you know what, Michael, I would say in all honesty, it's about time.
Yeah.
This has been one of the premier franchises in NFL history. Now, I know the last 5 years haven't gone the way anybody hopes they would have gone. But I think if you look back at the success, and especially after Pat took over in '84, and you gauge that, you look at other NFL teams, that the Broncos are one of the 2 or 3 best franchises in the NFL. And for a long time, I doing a talk show, I would consider, because I'd have fans call up and be upset about that. And I thought, well, maybe you're looking at it just in a provincial sort of way. Maybe that's not really the case. And then finally, I did a little bit of homework on it. I'm thinking, well, what's going on here? Because clearly, whether it's intended or not, in my opinion, there's been a bias amongst the voters in the Hall of Fame. So I'm just glad that some of these guys, and obviously Peyton, you knew was going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm really glad that John got in. John's a better guy than he was football player, and he's a Hall of Fame football player. So really happy for those 2 guys. But I hope that what we've seen the last couple of years, as you mentioned with Champ and Terrell and some of the other guys, I hope that the door is opening a bit more for some of the guys that played back when I played. Some of the guys that played in the Orange Crush, and Randy Gradishar and Carl Mecklenburg and Louis Wright. I mean, the Broncos had Hall of Fame caliber players that I would very much think should be recognized. I hope that day comes soon.
Yeah, this has obviously been a good start, but I know Broncos country feels like there's a long way to go in terms of getting everybody who should be properly honored. Dave, we're going to get you out of here on this, but I want your thoughts on Drew Lock as he enters his now third offseason in the NFL, if you will. You have a chance to talk with Drew a fair amount. You obviously watch him play. You were a former player yourself. Where does he need to improve the most heading into year 3?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, not only calling the games, but I went back and watched every single game of the All-22. And what I came away with, and I tried to do it in an unbiased way because I like Drew doing his show. He made 5 or 6 throws, Michael, this fall that there are very few guys in the world that can make. I mean, the anticipation of the throw, the arm talent, hanging in the pocket. He had a throw in the come from behind win against the Chargers at home on a 3rd and 18, a deep dig route to Jerry Jeudy. That window was about the size of my foot, and he makes the throw right in the money. So really impressed with that. He's got to continue to make progress in terms of his decision making, right? I mean, they led the league in turnovers. You can't have that. That's the most glaring stat of all this year. That has to improve next year, or there's going to be a bunch of guys that are going to be out of work. And I think they know that. So got to make better decisions, has the talent to do so. But I think that would be first and foremost, deciding when you want to try to make a throw, fit it in, or throw the ball away and live to fight another down.
Dave, you're the best, man. Always enjoy the visit. Look forward to finishing up this book. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Appreciate your time, Michael.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for logging on to CBS in Denver and CBSDenver.com.